Hey yo. Okay, guys, welcome to the Ministry of Wrestling. It's a WrestleMania recap, a bit later than our normal shows. We have been busy as hell. It nearly didn't happen. Put it out there. Um, Acknowledge me because I won WrestleMania Backlash this week. Let's join with Nico. But yeah, we're here. So it is myself, the one HA, aka Two Sweet Tony. To the right of me, we've got the man Big Tone. Any messages for the
Big
ministry?
Tone back in the zone. Once again, happy to be here, despite life's trials and tribulations. Yeah,
That's the
we
one, my
made
brother.
it.
That's the one. And the man beneath with the big grin, it says it all. He's thrown up the two sweets, but he's more than sweet. He is the ultimate finesser. We're talking about the man called Leon, aka Simmzy. How you doing, bro?
Yo, how you doing, man? All good, all good. Ready to go and ready to
Good, good,
finesse like
good.
only I do.
Big stuff, big stuff. So, okay, as we said, WrestleMania Backlash. Before we even get into results, I actually thought it was a pretty good pay per view for something that we felt was going to be a how can I say it, rematch central of Mania. I think the guys actually really pulled out on the cards. I think everyone gave a solid match. Obviously, some duds here and there, but overall, for me, I enjoyed the card. How about yourselves?
You know what? It surpassed expectations because again, a lot of the matches did seem mundane. Some did live up to their mundaneness,
Yeah, yeah,
but
yeah,
then
for sure.
others, far exceeded what we were expecting to get. Some even had some results I didn't expect.
Most
Yeah, I second
definitely.
that. I second that one. Really good show. I actually really enjoyed it. Kind of happy that they opened the show with Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes. I think that was a very good decision. Although it could have been the pre to the main event, but obviously, nothing's going to take over that. That's always going to be the main event as far as the head of the table is concerned. But other than that, overall good show. Was shocked with a couple of results, but still enjoyed it.
Cool, cool. No, for sure. So, do you know what, Leon? Back in the day, I always lived to live by that whole the main event and the match before it being the big one. I don't know if you ever heard one of the reasons Jericho left WWE for AEW. Jeez, the
If you
crossfire.
just hold that for 1 minute,
Yep.
AJ. If you look at our group chat, we might have a fourth member looking to jump in.
Oh. Bear with me 1 second. This is live. Don't let anyone tell you differently. Um, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, that's fine. So we will be joined by everyone but my co-victor this week. But yeah, going back to that point, I'll let Den the Tech jump in as soon as he's available. But one of the key reasons behind Jericho leaving WWE for AEW was the whole him and Kevin Owens. They were meant to be main event. It got taken away. They were meant to
Yeah.
be match one, and apparently match one is of like major credit. It's like it sets the tone for the show. And it's when they got moved to match two that he was like really pissed off. He's like, "This isn't for me," kind of thing anymore. Look to greener pastures. So that's why when I learned that, that's why I actually really thought, yeah, no one else could outdo those two for match opener, to kick off the night. So we'll give it a few more minutes for them to come in, but it's no shocker again, guys. If you haven't watched WrestleMania Backlash, if you've been under a rock, this is a spoiler show, right? So yes, we did kick off with the American Nightmare versus the Visionary. That is Cody Rhodes versus Seth Rollins, and the image. Oh, it is a disaster kick. This is all WWE images, so there was no expectations of a victor here. But yeah, big Cody Rhodes took the victory in that one. Match of the, I mean, the main was a big one, but to me, this was a match of the night because it just felt
Nah, definitely match of the night. Yeah.
unpredictable as hell. I was at the absolute edge of my seat. Yeah. By the way, has someone got a TV on?
Wait. I'm doing the background. Live in it. Hold on 1 second.
Leon, how was your take on this opener of a match?
Which one you're talking? The head main event?
Yeah, no, the first match,
The
Cody and
first
Seth,
match.
which could have been a main event
Absolutely.
anywhere, absolutely
It could
anywhere.
have been the main event. Like it literally could have been one of the matches that stole the show. It had back and forth. It had a story behind it. It literally had everything you could possibly want in a wrestling match, and I could even dare say wrestling match in WWE. But it definitely told a story from the first moment they started their rivalry to now. It literally had points where you couldn't tell who was going to win that match. Like, it really had you behind. It really had you kind of glued to the TV and kind of like, sunk in with that match sort of thing. It was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
And it was even made, I would even dare say, sorry, Roman, but it was even main event worthy.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely main event worthy.
For sure. That's the one where you don't mind putting your $9.99 down for a pay per view, because a match like that probably sets the tone. So what I think we'll do for a recap show, because I mean everyone should kind of know the results. We can talk about how we were pissed, how we were happy based on our own scoring. But more to the point, I think what we should do in terms of making it still in that prediction kind of zone and a bit of newsworthiness, I would think let's play a game of, let's answer the question of what do you see next after each match. So yeah, Raw has kind of given it away, but what do you see next for? Well, for anyone who doesn't know, Cody had a US title match against Theory.
Yep.
Rollins obviously interfered and cost him that. But what is next for these two?
You know what?
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. You go, Tone.
Okay. Well, basically, just to touch on the match as well, like the match was excellent. Dare I say it was better than a WrestleMania match, which was a banger. One of the best matches at WrestleMania. I mean, like normally I might be a bit like about the ending, but the ending made a lot of sense here. Like I was gutted that I didn't go with Cody because I felt to. I honestly felt to, but then like I just thought WWE is gonna just do WWE, and they're gonna make Seth do that because don't tell me they didn't think about making Seth be the one in it that had the tights, yeah, and then just get away, and then they had the rubber match. But like in terms of future, the fact that Cody did win, it makes me happy. It makes me very happy because again, they still think he's their shiny new toy, yeah, and they're still booking him accordingly. Like, and they still have him at the top of the card. They didn't want him to lose straight away, because yes, it would have been fine if Cody like lost via shenanigans or whatever. But I'm glad that they just straight made him continue with his winning streak. So it's going to be a big thing when eventually someone does pin his shoulders to the match. In terms of what happened in Raw with the United States Championship. Now, we were speaking about this in our group, and Nico thinks it will be a step backwards and like an admission that he's a main carder. He's a mid carder, sorry. Yeah, if Cody gets the US title. I am of the opposite, opinion of this. I feel the United States title around the waist of Cody would be an excellent fit, and I think he would actually raise the title, like say when Cena had the US title, even when Lashley had the US title, their run seemed more solid, yeah, than just we're just giving this guy the title to do nothing for several months. So hopefully he will like obviously go. This is gonna head into a Hell in a Cell with him and Seth. Like hopefully we'll just get a clean sweep against Seth, and then maybe he might move into a program with Theory where he gets that title. Because yes, I know we all want him to be world champion and everything, but that might be quite a while away. We don't know how long it will be. So you know what, a United States title run in the meantime could just be what the doctor ordered.
I might have to second that one as well. Obviously with the predictions thing, here's the thing. I was saying it in the predictions video itself, where I was like, as much as I love Seth Rollins, as much as I love the the brilliant outfit. Whoever designed that outfit, like, kudos, because it was that kind of outfit that suits Seth Rollins. But I had to play tactical, and this is why I went with Cody Rhodes, because as I was saying, if he was to take a loss this early, where does he go from here? And that will lead me to the United States title match in a second. But obviously, again, I was so in sync with the story that they were telling at Backlash that you kind of knew that something like that was going to happen. And I think Big Tony even called it. He was saying something where he was saying like someone's going to either hold the ropes or, cheat to win sort of thing. And that's exactly how it went. So the way the match ended with Cody winning, It was of no surprise. I was happy with the result because that's what I predicted. And then going on to the United States title match on Raw, here's the thing. See, you kind of knew it was going to go like that, with the interference and everything else like that. As much as we would love Cody to be the US champion, being the American Nightmare and all those kind of things, obviously the belt would match that ghastly tattoo on his neck. But either way, at least it would have given that tattoo some kind of credibility. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it would have just given it some kind of credibility. And who knows, maybe Brandy would have, come around to that tattoo that she dislikes on his neck also. But again,
don't just put it down to just Brandy. I think half of the world, most of the world, hates that tattoo.
There you go. You see what I mean?
It's his position.
Again,
it's his position, man.
It would have been a good look. And even though Nico was against it, here's the thing: like, Goldberg won the United States title, and he went on that run until he won the World Heavyweight Championship. Ultimate Warrior had the Intercontinental title and went on this massive run until he faced Hogan for the World Championship. And if you look in history, Booker T, there's so many wrestlers in history that held that belt with such prestige, and it helped to elevate them. You look at Austin Aries with the X Division title, held that until he went for the world title. So there is areas for him to give credibility, not only to the title, but for his run. And then obviously he could have held that title until he felt he was ready to go on that championship run. When that is, we don't know. But at least it would have given the fans some kind of sense as to how he will hold the title. And then obviously what he could have done is, if he was to go on to then win the world title, he could relinquish the US title. That creates another tournament for the up-and-coming wrestlers who don't seem to get TV time nowadays. And that would have just proceeded for him to hold the world title and have many matches with many said wrestlers, giving him, obviously, the pay-per-views that he wants, the kind of matches that he wants. And again, it's been said many times, it's not the championship that makes the wrestler, it's the wrestler that makes the championship. So equally, he could have held both titles with a bit of prestige. No one would have probably been behind it, but the difference is the booking with WWE. And that's the problem, which is why I also think it was good the way that match ended on Raw, because again, it's given that story and it's given that rivalry that him and Seth Rollins, Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins are having. And obviously, it just kind of gets people guessing. When something becomes too predictable, that's when people lose interest. With what happened with the results on Raw, it keeps people interested. It keeps people tuned in to see what's going to happen next week. And it also makes people wonder what's going to happen with Austin Theory with that championship as well, being that he's only just won it. But without going into too much semantics, again, like I said, that was predictable. And the way it's going, you can tell they actually are going to have a Hell in a Cell match at the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view.
Interesting. So at this time, I would like to put up one more finger to the trio, because we are now the Fantastic Four in the building. The reigning, defending champ, Mr. Den the Tech is here. How you doing,
champ who is smashing the not picking the right numbers at all.
No, me and you both, mate.
So I saw the result. You did good. You came. Was it three matches you got or something like that? Or
4 out of 5.
No, I only, yeah.
Sorry, 5 out of 6. I got 5 out of 6. Yeah.
Me and my 2 or whatever it was.
the two runs.
Look.
Listen, I would have been right up there if I didn't change from Omos. You know what I mean? I was pissed when that happened. I was so pissed. So I feel you.
You took yourself out of it. You went, I picked Omos.
The Cody one, like, is really this because I knew he was gonna win.
Yeah.
Did everyone pick Cody?
Yes.
No, I didn't pick Cody.
No, yeah,
I wanted to take a chance and see if Seth would, pull a fast one, and then I would have won. I would have won the whole thing.
Talk about chances, because
183 million chance, boy.
I said Bobby Lashley. I said who was it? Ronda, and Ronda was gonna win, but I don't want to vote for her. So I said,
have you actually had a chance
Ronda.
to watch the pay-per-view then?
How can I answer this to make it? I'm the non-wrestling fan. Wrestling fan. Where these lovely gentlemen right here will fill me in on what I've missed. Give me matches I should watch, and I do watch the ones you recommended. I can't watch a full on show unless I'm with y'all. When I'm with you guys, it's fun. It's
I
just
hear that,
amazing.
bro. I hear that.
But to sit there and give my time to, especially to the WWE, it's quite hard. But I'm always here to hear what I miss. And you know what? I recommend this, and I listen to your recommendations, like everyone should. So
Perfect. So as we
from
were
this pay per
saying,
view, what would you recommend from this pay per view? Y'all, everyone's seen it, right?
yeah,
Was it
it was a
overall good?
It was overall good, better than it exceeded expectations, as Big Tone said. But more than anything, we're kind of doing it in a match, and what we see coming up next, we do believe this
Okay.
first match, which was Cody versus Seth, match of the night. Honestly, it kind of hurts when you know a result, if you would, but
It doesn't.
especially when you're banking on for points. But this is
It's
one of
weird.
those matches that had you on the edge of your seat, thinking, "Have I lost
It's
a
a
point? Have I gained a point?"
Now, what I'm saying is it's a weird thing where you got certain matches where you know the results and people could tell you should see this match, this person won, but it's so good. And you should go back and watch it and you still do that, ooh, one, two, even though you know they're not gonna win. So yeah,
Can I be
I
honest?
would
As
check
you
out that
say
match.
that, it does happen. Even matches you've seen time and time again. One of the matches for me as a recall for that was the first Rock Cena at Mania. I knew the result. The amount of times I jumped out of my seat is ridiculous. For something I knew the results to. It was nuts. So that's a good point. So yeah,
So
going back
what I
to
do in future, just quickly, just let
yeah,
y'all know and the fans know that watching this. What I do in the future is because I'm not dedicated as much as y'all are. After the pay per view, I would just ask, "What's your recommendation?" If it's not hangout time, I'd ask, "What's the recommendation?" And I'll probably just get there and watch the match. I know it's an overall story, but if it's a good match, put it in the group and I'll jump on it. So when we come to this, I'm not coming in blind. I can come into the prediction blind, but this is bad, and I'm really sorry for everyone
no,
that
we're
haven't
good. We're
seen
good.
it.
I mean, again, one of the
I would
things
say
the way
go watch
sorry,
Seth. Go watch
Will
Seth.
do.
Because
yeah,
again, that was a good match. And like, if you think the WrestleMania match was good, I would arguably say this one was better.
I agree. I actually
Cool.
agree.
Will do. Thank you.
I think
Will
what
do.
also gave it the edge is that because it was, the homecoming for Cody, you knew the victory was there. You can still kind of know and have a bit of like, no, they won't screw him. This one, it was definitely uncertain, which just made the buzz in the atmosphere, I think, from the crowd and everyone amazing. The guys pulled out every stop as well with the
And
moves that they hit.
something I've seen in the group of the conversation about Seth holding, I mean not Seth, Cody holding the US Championship, and now that's a downplay for him. It's not.
Thank you.
Yeah,
It is
I
not.
just touched on
We've all just we
Okay.
literally just touched on that.
No,
Okay.
but I
no,
mean,
go
give
on
your
then.
views as well,
Go on
bro.
then. I want to hear you.
Right. I give you this. Let's just go to the straight up. The first one everyone would always mention, Cena with the US Championship. That was the
Yeah.
match. That's what everyone was looking forward to during the Raw. It wasn't like Raw was Raw, but who's going to Cena going to fight? Who's going to come up against? And they brought up people. Freaking hell, Kevin Owens just came up as the champion, fought Cena.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You couldn't
That was
see that
epic.
happening, but stuff
Kind of
happened
what
like
he did
that.
with the TNT title back in AEW. It made it
Yeah.
interesting. He faced everyone, and every match he
That's
faced.
true. That is exactly the same scenario. Basically, he will just come out every week, have his open challenge, and then it's who's it gonna be? Yeah, like I think after Seth is done with Cody and they both move on, Cody should definitely move on to Theory, get that title because Theory can get like 100 of these titles. He's so young, yeah.
Yeah,
But
he's
like
Still
still
progressing. Who's the Intercontinental
yeah,
Champion?
Cody having the title
Theory, the guy
right
who
now would
was
be
against Pat McAfee at Mania.
No, he's got the Intercontinental title.
Oh,
no,
Intercontinental.
he's got the US title.
Who's got the
Intercontinental
Intercontinental?
is Ricochet.
Hey,
Oh,
take it off Ricochet.
I had to think
Sorry,
about
I'm so sorry.
that.
Take it off Ricochet. Leave Fury because they're trying to make something of him. Take it off Ricochet. They've already destroyed
No,
that
I
guy's career.
honestly,
I would, I
I
would,
think
I would disagree
take
with
the
that because
title,
I would
take the
disagree with that
title
because
off Theory.
Ricochet has paid his dues to hold that title. We've all had our views on how they were treating Ricochet, and
They
what
are.
would even be more interesting is if Cody has the US title, Ricochet keeps the Intercontinental title, and they both have some kind of match because that would be interesting. Whether it was title for title or either title on the line, that would be a very
Honestly,
interesting match.
So the interesting thing,
I say send Theory to go get the Intercontinental title.
I mean, the
Take,
interesting thing
take it
is
off
normally
Ricochet.
Survivor Series is the landscape for champ versus champ. In a world where the Usos are probably going to walk out as unified champs, and Roman's currently holding 2 belts. The only one worth talking about for champ versus champ is the mid-card title at the moment. Going back to just agree with what everyone has also highlighted on this. Everyone's talked about how it's been holding guard. If you think of it, that was what they done to make Bobby Lashley look strong on his come up to the title. And that's exactly what I think will happen here. If you give Cody that title run, whatever dominance or whatever madness Roman's up to, it keeps Cody out of that sunshine. It makes people look more relevant because Cody, again, like you guys are saying, with those open challenges, just being a defending champion until it comes to that point. I know, Leon, you said relinquish. I think it's even stronger to be the person who beats him. It could be a triple threat or something like that. But even if that person, again, even if he goes on this mad crusade and Theory takes it back off him at the end of it, and then he moves up to the top title, it just gives that extra prestige. It's like, my God, you really earned it. You earned your stripes to take it off of Cody, kind of thing. So
let me ask you a question though. From all of this, is Cody winning Money in the Bank?
No.
I hadn't actually thought of that. I mean, when we talk about what's next, it actually makes it easier.
If he holds the US title or the Intercontinental title, because the other thing is that he can always go to SmackDown as well. Remember, Roman's got both belts and he's on both shows, so Cody could end up on SmackDown as well. Now, if he holds a title, whether it's the IC or the US title, I don't think he would win Money in the Bank. However, he could still win Money in the Bank with a title, so he's got the belt and the briefcase. And then obviously that would be his chance to cash in against said champion, Roman Reigns, which again makes it interesting. But then that's 3 belts between 2 people, which basically doesn't give anyone else a chance to have that belt. Do you know what I mean?
If the rumors are true, this year Money in the Bank is supposed to be a Mania main event spot and not cash in whenever you want. I mean, like, if that is the case, then Cody's definitely going to win that.
That is weak as
though. If that's the case, then what happens to the Royal Rumble?
Yeah, well, there's night 1 and there's night 2, isn't there? And there's 2 titles.
Interesting. But then that makes it mega bait. Unless, because it then has
that ruins the Money in the Bank. That ruins the Money in the Bank concept.
Like, it does ruin the concept. But like, if you look at the Money in the Bank, like in recent years, they have not really utilized it properly. Yeah, they've had people cash in straight away. They've had people trade in for the title. They've had people like fight for the Money in the Bank, lose it to someone else, and they cash in.
That's why it could actually work in this case, because you got people unifying the belt. They could use the Money in the Bank as like another thing to fight for, like a title type situation. It's not really top. And then I like that surprise cash in, and the fact that they can give it to someone that's an up and comer. Give it to the Intercontinental Champion guy. Let him have it. Let him have it, because everyone sees Vince, not Intercontinental, the other guy,
Fury.
US.
Austin
Fury. Austin
Fury.
Give it to Austin Fury, because everyone keeps talking about Vince is pushing him so much. So when he gets it, and he's such a heel right now, because I've seen a bit of him, that would be like the dickish move. Like, think about who's the best holding the case? A face holding the case is never good. A heel holding the case is always good, because they could cheat. A face is going to be like, oh, I'm going to cash it in next week, so be prepared. What? That is just, why do they make their face stupid? Make your face smart. Have them just run in and take the cash.
My 2 favorite Money in the Bank winners are both heels, and that's Edge and Seth Rollins. Like, absolute perfect cash-ins.
Not CM Punk. Not CM Punk did to Jeff Hardy.
But none would.
What CM Punk did to Jeff Hardy was one of the best cash-ins. Jeff Hardy went through hell versus Edge. He got back the title, and then CM Punk just came down. When he was supposed to be a good guy, by the way, when he was supposed to be a good guy, he comes down, he hit that go to sleep, took the title, man. Brilliant.
Became a heel instantly. Became a heel.
The only thing they haven't done is for a face to cash in, or a favorite to cash in the Money in the Bank against another face and then turn heel. That's one thing they haven't done.
They just told
you. They did that with
CM
Punk.
That's what happened.
And he turned face. He turned heel after that. But the best cashing is,
Don't. I
want to say it.
promised I was going to be good.
I am gonna say, and I'm sorry he cries about it, but it's one of the best cashing ever. On the same night, Rey Mysterio finally became champ, and Kane came out of nowhere on the same night. It was, I'm sorry, it really was, because at that point, that was the first time they had 2-time cashing, and it just the same night. It's like that.
I was so proud of Kane that night.
It's not the case of against Ray. It could have been against anyone, but the fact that it was just like he won it that early that night, and then he came in and cashed it later that night. I was like, I never saw that coming.
Yeah,
not to mention he double faked it. Yeah, so he came out making that he was going to help Rey Mysterio, and then he came back out and beat him.
Anyway, Big Tom, what's Rey Mysterio good for?
Death, taxes, and get his ass whooped.
Cool. Let's move on. That's where Nico switched off.
You guys are so bad because this poor guy is currently abroad, and I vowed I wasn't going to try and wind him up. He's going to listen to this pod or watch this pod back, and he's going to be like, they haven't even got to match 2, and they brought out Ray. It is what it is.
It's not even about, once again, I just want to emphasize, I just made jokes about Ray, but it's not about Ray. It was the fact that they won the same night and cashed in.
I don't want to be a dick, though, but it made more sense. It was a giant, it's just squashing the tiniest guy who's just come out of a tough victory. It was awesome.
Yeah. It was a heel move, and it was a good heel move.
Yeah,
good move.
Right. Not to mention it was long deserving of for Kane as well. But moving on.
Okay, here we go.
Yes.
On to, I believe, I'm just doing it from the way the results came up. I can't remember what match was where.
So good.
Match 2, Edge versus the phenomenal one, AJ Styles. And obviously we had the newest member to Nico's favorite team, the Judgment Day.
Good call, I think it was you that called it.
I've got to give that.
Can I just ask a question?
Tone called it.
Can I just ask a question before we go into it? Like, does anyone else feel the same way about Judgment Day that Nico does?
I couldn't care less.
Hold on. I think I can hear the cricket somewhere. No, I actually don't. I actually don't know anyone. Sorry, I just choked. Yeah. So one of the things for everyone who's unaware of it, Nico has a major beef. And guys, this isn't the bury Nico while he's abroad episode. It's just where the cookie's crumbling right now. Nico has this beef that he believes. Keep it purple because that's the color Edge is going for at the moment. Then.
Oh, it's not red. It's not red at the booth.
He's got this beef that he believes the faction is not going to do anything. I've been good. Yeah, that the faction's not going to do anything but for Edge. And apparently there was the age thing. Like they're too Damian Priest is too old to be under Edge's learning tree. There's a 9-year gap between the two of them. To me, it works. It's one of those things. Even if you take something like the Ministry of Darkness, right, which essentially led to greater stuff for people, we all still knew that Midian was going to be someone's whipping boy. Sorry, someone talk for a bit. I need to cough.
Give some water. Yeah. So, watching this thing with Edge, it's not about Edge. Edge is there to bring people up, and the age difference means nothing when it comes to that. It's about experience. Edge has been doing it from a teen. He's been in WWE. He's been killing it. He's been on the main event for how many years? So he's showing these young up-and-comers how to main event. You've got people that were being pushed to the stop, but they didn't make it there. Once again, go back to the ministry. You had the Ministry of Darkness. You had APA. But when APA joined the Ministry of Darkness, they kind of grew a bit. The Brood joined it. They were cool beforehand. They became cooler. They could even leave. People could come into the ministry, graze their stock, and then step out. This is what I think this will do. Bring people in, get their stock up.
Everybody who was in the ministry became world champion as well. That's another thing.
Naked Midian and Viscera called, but we'll leave that there.
Viscera did. Viscera did. He became
ECW. Yeah, I take it back.
And Naked Minion probably did. He was the tag team champion.
But the thing is, that's the thing. You can't look at the ministry and say titles weren't there. I mean, thankfully we didn't see Naked Midian win the Royal Rumble or anything along that line. I wouldn't have wanted to see that celebration. But no, when you look at it, the WWE, that ministry has done it. And I think if you look at, put it this way, the Major Brothers were nothing until they became Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder. You know, when they became the edge heads, that people paid more attention to them.
Yeah.
They would have been long forgotten, I believe, had it not been under Edge. And
Thank you.
this is just the next way to look at it. Okay, people will be like, "Where's Zack Ryder?" All right, cool. Look at Matt Cardona right now.
I was going to say something very similar to that, where we're comparing Edge's little group to the Ministry, which is a massive group. You don't even need to go that far. Just go to the Brood.
Yeah.
Yeah, you had Christian. Christian was this weird face guy that was just coming out. If he wasn't part of the Brood, he'd be a little skinny guy that would have become a jobber really quickly. I'm sorry, but it's true. Back in them days, they were Land of Giants. And you're just like, who are these guys? And then that theme song, just them coming out and just, you got Edge, Gangrel, and the skinny guy. Then after a while, it was Edge and Christian, and Gangrel was there. Then it's Edge and Christian. Then Christian was finally on his own.
Yeah.
And made a name for himself in another company and came back and became champion.
Yeah, it's true. And this is the thing.
Me personally, I mean, my whole thoughts on this Judgment Day is like, I'm digging it so far. I do think Nico has potential to be right down the line with what they do. Like, hopefully they do push them towards main event and there are titles involved. If that happens, then they're a success. If that doesn't happen, then it's going to be a waste of time. But so far, what I see, I like, and one of the things I like the most is that they seem to be incorporating mid-card storylines into, like, you know, the whole angle. So, like, call it fantasy booking, if you will. If the rumors are true and Tommaso Ciampa is the next person to join Judgment Day, then that likely means we're going to see Mustafa Ali, like, join, AJ and Finn Balor and Liv Morgan, in the fight against him. And that's nice because that's giving a good 8 people on Raw something to do in an actual storyline. They're not just like coming out and doing, like, you know, random matches and just, like, you know, 50-50 bucking. They're in an actual feud, an actual storyline. And like that, I'm really happy about.
This is it. I think just being next to greatness is going to raise your stock. You know, just echoing what everyone says. And it's that chance of multiple storyline, you know, multiple faces being seen in one storyline. So it's just one segment has brought attraction to everyone. My argument with this match, which really, the slight niggle, because I mean, it's AJ and Edge, you know what's going to happen. I think what we'll see is it will look like Nico's right for a while because Edge will keep recruiting people. So it's going to be the Edge show. Once he's got his team, I think you'll see Edge step back and be a bit more of a manager. And that's where he will develop the greatness of his team. Because Edge is past that point of it's about Edge. My gripe about this match, though, I like the way they were trying to be smart about Damian Priest and have him just be on that line. But if you've had a match that has officially banned you from ringside, by the time Finn Balor came out and attacked him and he became at ringside, should that not have become an automatic DQ? Based on the stipulation of the match.
Well, technically, he didn't go to the side of the ring.
He was on the ramp.
Yeah, but by the time Finn attacked him, he was ringside.
Oh yeah, he was actually in the ring. It should have been a disqualification.
It should have been a DQ. That was the only bit
the ref forgot. The ref forgot.
In the heat of the moment.
In the heat of the moment, he just
the match as opposed to fake. But yeah.
All right. What did we think of the actual quality of the match, though? Like better than WrestleMania.
Should I head out and watch this one as well or not? Opinions.
I think you should.
I thought it was a lot better.
Just to see the angle of how that match was and how things happen, I would say it's worth a watch so you could understand how this storyline is building up. Because
or should I wait?
It's. Do you know what? It's one of those things that when you take the names of who it is, I don't want to be deep and say you expect more, but it didn't have me on the edge of my seat in the same way Seth and Cody did, and that kind of bugs me. I'm not saying it was a bad match.
It's a tough act to follow, to be honest. That was the best match of the night.
Yeah.
There was no cool-down match in between, or is this the cool-down match?
I can't remember.
No.
If anything, I would say they should stop trying to be the next Ministry of Darkness and be the first Judgment Day, because when you try to copy something too much, it can become a mockery, and this is when people start to lose interest.
I'm not
When you
being
give
funny.
People already
bring
taking
English
the
in.
piss.
I don't think
They're
I don't
calling
think
it
they're
House
copying
of
English in.
Purple, isn't it?
This is what I was going to say. Short of a purple light, we're not seeing Edge rolling his eyes back and trying to create thunderstorms and lightning and all of that and telling people there's a sacrifice. I think they are doing their own thing.
Yet they actually teleported
Well,
into the room. Don't forget
they
that.
did appear into the AJ's room and beat the holy hell out of him.
Oh, that was
But the only thing is I think he's slowly steering towards his own thing. I mean, first of all, he needs to sue his barber if you've watched Raw. And secondly, like, see where the powers that be don't seem to be giving these mid-carders the run that they should be having. It's nice to see that a wrestler is giving this to them. And being that Edge has that kind of stroke now, it's just nice to see him obviously giving these wrestlers or these entertainers, sports entertainers, the chance to kind of come up and show everybody, if not the bookers or the powers that be, the actual potential that they've got.
Do you know what?
Every time you say,
go
every time you
for
say
it.
powers to be, I keep thinking of the higher power. But this
But it
time,
is still one of the same. It is still
Well,
one of
that
the
was
same.
Vince anyway.
I was going to say, it's still one of the same.
but
It was
this
him
time
all
it's
along.
Taker.
You know what I mean?
It was me, Austin.
It was me. Son of a bitch. Sorry, I kept thinking of that.
But here's a question, though, going back on this powers that be thing before we move on to the next match, right? There was no one to really pass the torch. Like, WWE has been in this position where most people who were of relevance were either injured and had to retire or just left for greener pastures, right? So when it comes to it, having guys like Edge who are able to be that powers that be, because what I find, and I'm not defending WWE over anyone else, you just find that you're scared as to who to make the bigger star, and you get into these feuds that lead to nothing. Whereas with someone like Edge, and again like Seth has got to that point of establishment where losses actually don't mean shit to Seth. Seth could still go and challenge Roman tomorrow, and no one will be like, "Oh, but you lost to Cody." It's at that point. Whereas on the star building point, it's kind of difficult, I believe, from that mid card down. So that's why it's good to have someone like Edge mucking around with it. Going back to what we said about the US title, Cena in that mix gives these guys a chance to raise their stock.
But is it so difficult if you do it right? I mean, the formula is simple. Like, a guy debuts, the guy gets a bunch of wins. He then goes on to, like, do a few feuds and, like, high profiles, but, you keep him winning. And then, like, from that, he moves on to, like, having a big moment, like winning a Royal Rumble or fighting the champ or whatever. And then from there, like, if you've done it correctly, you've got a main eventer. And if you watch it, nobody, because no book further than what they're doing on AEW with their, like, 4 pillars and everything. Yeah. Like, a guy like... go ahead.
2 things with that, where we're saying, back in the days, there was that level between lower card, mid card, and upper card. Now they want to make everyone upper card, but they're all just lingering in mid card. Evan,
that's the thing.
The problem you face with that as well is if one guy is winning to get up there, he has to beat the other guys they want to get up there. This is WWE's booking wise, where AEW does the gang warfare thing, where it's like a group of people, and there's people in the group that can lose all the time. They're like the jobber of the group, but you got at the top end of the group, they win. So in each individual group, they have the low, mid, and high, and that's how they seem to be doing it. Which
that's a good point,
like,
that is a very good point. Like, and I actually agree with that as well. Like, with that booking standpoint. But what I'm trying to just get at is that you do have to make that choice that this person is going to be the next guy. Like, all right, maybe if we're not using AEW, I'll use New Japan. New Japan will, like, pick someone, and they could have been there for years. Take Will Ospreay, yeah. Will Ospreay was there for years, and he was there in all different types of capacity, as, like, a tag team guy, as a cruiserweight guy, as, like, someone who can lose matches. But then when it was go time, it was go time. Just like with Kota Ibushi, it was go time. It's time for this guy to be on the rise. This is his year. Now, what I would say is WWE need to pick somebody and commit to it. not just pick back 3 people and commit to them because they don't have to fight each other. Yeah, and I feel they are sort of doing that at the moment with Cody, Drew, and Lashley, but like Drew is probably like a doomed case because after he loses to Roman inevitably, he's probably gonna slip back down again. But like yeah, just commit to that person. Yeah, don't be afraid
What I
to
have to
have
say
him
is
go
this:
through people.
if Edge does this faction right, then at some point, because the closest person you can see emulating Edge is Damian Priest, and if they do this right, he can be the person who turns on Edge and be that person that carries that flag. He's got the potential for it. He's got the potential for it.
Bro, but the thing
What I
is, so does
also want
Ciampa.
though, I want WWE though to listen to the audience. Like think about Roman Reigns. For how long everyone was booing him. He's getting cheers, but he's getting a lot of boos. The second they just went, all right, we're gonna stop making you be this fake person. Go be yourself, but just turn it up a little bit more. People go, oh my god, this guy is good. Just listen to the audience, and they stopped that when they went, oh, it's like a mixed crowd, because they want that thing of Cena getting booed and cheered, and they're thinking that's a good thing. No, think of Austin. Go all the way back to Austin. When
Yeah.
he was there, he was a heel, but he was a cool heel, and he was getting cheered and getting cheered and getting cheered. And at the same time, Brett was meant to be a face, and he's getting booed and getting booed, and they did a double turn because the audience 316. Someone said that he said that people brought a sign. It became a big thing.
Do
Listen
you
to
know
the
more than
audience.
listening to the audience? And I could be wrong, yeah? Stop giving guys characters and let them pitch their ideas for a character.
And let them be them. Let them be
That
them.
is the thing. And that's why, as much as a lot of people hate on it, I was really happy with the Nikki ASH because it was her idea to take it that place. It's sink or swim, but you can't blame creative. You've got it there. Now, I'm not saying you need all-out creative freedom.
Yeah, but that did sink though. This is the problem, innit, with WWE. Like,
Let it sink.
again, it's about committing to something and committing to somebody. If you're gonna do a character change, don't do a character change and have that person start losing within a couple of months. Yeah, because you just made it like redundant. There was no point of changing the character.
The thing is though, is on that subject. All right, you can say that it's kind of sinking now, but with every superhero, you know, you have Dark Batman, you have you have Dark Superman, or Man of Steel. They've done a dark character of all of these superheroes, so it can still be salvaged. But this is the thing: how much creative
The
control
thing is,
does
her paired up with
But
two,
you
I
can't-
would prefer a different character with where it's going. But at the
Yeah,
time,
Osaki, if you watch Raw, if we both watch Raw, yeah, you can already see they're about getting ready to probably ditch this Nikki Ash thing anyway, yeah, because she's with Piper Niven in this tag team and she keeps telling her to take it serious. So I don't really see them going with it for much longer.
As you're saying about people pitching their own ideas and being them, I just think people should be themselves and just turn it up a notch. That's really it. Because
that's also another good point, because as you can see, they've paired her with another Scottish person. You put them together and you make them be themselves. They can take it they can take it to the moon. Do you see what I'm saying? They can literally take it to the moon.
Who do you prefer, Rocky Maivia or The Rock?
I prefer The Rock. You know,
Right,
I mean,
Rocky Maivia coming out.
who do you prefer? You can also say that in the same sentence as who do you prefer, the Chosen One or the Scottish Warrior? Do you know what I mean?
no, this is it. When you unleash them to be who they are and don't force feed these stuff. Don't get me wrong. I understand certain decisions because they took the mask off El Generico and Sami Zayn is an absolute freaking legend. But you need to also realize where stuff aren't working and develop it into who the person actually is. And there are some stuff where you're
sometimes like it's not always about being yourself. It's about being the character you can portray the best.
Yes.
Because like Nikki Ash, yeah, was totally fine on NXT as the Twisted Sister. Yeah. She was crazy, like, and she was like lethal. Like that was a great character. She did it well. Yeah. She had a lot of support. But then she comes to Raw and it's a different thing.
Can we be honest though? Because I prefer Nikki Ash, ASH, whichever one you want to call it, over the the backup dancer to Alexa Bliss. And I actually think her winning Money in the Bank and at that time when she was
Oh
there,
no, I'm not talking about
had-
that. I'm talking
she had-
before.
yeah, I see that, bro.
Before.
I agree. But when she pitched this idea, once it had dropped and she pitched this idea, I actually think she moved units. It's just that after that, because the company don't endorse it and push it further enough, she just gets lost in the shuffle, and then it's like, oh, here we go, this one.
You talk about company
I
don't
preferred her
That's what I'm
when
talking about.
she was a part of Sanity. I preferred her like that as well. That was
That's-
she
Yeah,
carried that.
that's what I'm on
That's-
about. When
It
she
was
was
the
on
big
best
difference
part
between
of
that.
Sanity. She was the star of Sanity, and Sanity sunk, and it was awkward to carry the character. I think even like Alexa Bliss coming back out with Lily after the Fiend has gone, people are like, just go back to being Alexa.
Yeah, that's true. I don't understand why on Raw she still had a doll. Like, just be Alexa. That's what people want to actually see at this point. So,
Hey, look, I give you two things WWE did though, which I never thought they would do. They turned two of the biggest baby faces into heels, and they became two of the best heels. Bailey was the biggest baby face. Was
Fact.
when they turned her heel, I called them stupid for doing that because you just gave up one of the best baby faces, and she's now a one of the best heels. Yeah.
I think she's a better heel
And
than she is face.
Sami Zayn, he was one of the best heels. His theme song is
Sami
just
says a
in
success
there.
story.
And then he just really just fell into that and just kept it going. So sometimes
With Bailey, though, I think they kind of had to because they ruined her face run. Do you remember the match where she wouldn't hit Alexa because she was too nice? Yeah, like people hated that. People absolutely hated that and turned on her, and that was WWE's fault.
That's going from being where she was happy to be a wrestler. That was a character in NXT. She was happy to be a wrestler. They made her into a kid. She's now a child.
This is when they get too complacent with these characters because you could say the same thing for Sami Zayn. How long was he going to be there? So I like the role that he has now. Now he's this conspiracist. Now he's got this Fidel Castro kind of thing going on, where
what I'm saying is,
like the ultimate conspirator.
At the time when it first happened, I was one of the people going, WWE don't know what they're doing. I can't even turn their face. You had such a great, turn them heel. You had such a great face. You could market it in so much different ways, and you went their way. So I was one going, they don't know what they're doing. And the best part about this, it's not WWE that made them who they are. They just went, all right, cool. So I'm a heel now. I need to learn to be a heel, and then just went in full board and smashed it. Ding.
Problem is though, we can all agree that it's far more easier to be a heel than a face.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
You say that, but it's not. It's not for everyone. There's people that's a natural face.
I was going to say, yeah, it's even better. As Rikishi said, it's better when you have a character. It's better when you have a character that no matter what role you give them, they can just make it work. Rikishi has said this. Do you know what I mean?
That's true. But look at someone like
Velveteen Dream. You look at the New Day. They were supposed to be these church-going guys, and all of a sudden they turned it into this thing. And look at the differences they made. You know what I'm saying? They still made it work, even though they were probably against it. They still made it work. So you have to look at some of these individuals as well, and whether they can take that role and work with it, or whether you give them that bit of creative control to see where they go with it. And then obviously, as Too Sweet Tony was saying, if it fails, it fails, but it doesn't come back on creative.
Mm-hmm. But I still feel that the point remains that it's easier to be a heel than a face because, someone like Johnny Gargano, that guy is a natural face, super face on NXT. But then, you just flip the switch, he becomes heel, and his character just raises so much more. Yeah, has so much more gravitas because he's funny.
You know the different part about that is
what's it?
Stone Cold.
Sorry.
Stone Cold becoming a heel was when he went from being a face and tried to become a heel, it was impossible. They did everything. They lined him up with Triple H. They had him join the WCW team. They did everything, and people still cheered him. So
that's true. But you know what? I will always defend Stone Cold's heel run because it was one of the most hilarious ones of all time, man.
I enjoyed
it. It's so good.
I love it.
What I'm saying is, as I was right now, Roman's a heel. I said this to you at the show when we were there, AJ, which was when Roman was a face and we were meant to be cheering him, we booed him. Now he's a heel and we're meant to be booing him, we cheer him.
I remember Cena saying the same thing about that on a podcast. He's like, but people keep saying, turn me heel. Why? To cheer me. Like, is that not defeating the purpose? It's one of those weird things. It's just one of those weird.
But it's not. You know what? I keep telling you, it's because the heels get to do all the cool stuff. Yeah, like a good example is Tommaso Ciampa. Before he was in DIY, and he was the second fiddle, wasn't he? Playing second fiddle to Johnny Wrestling, Johnny Gargano. Yeah, more or less. But then as soon as he turned and became the nuclear heated Ciampa on NXT, people loved him. From that day onwards, people loved him. Why? Because he did all the cool stuff.
One thing you have to recognize about Ciampa is for a man to not have a theme song, it was nothing but the crowd's boos. That
was powerful.
That's a cheap.
Look, we got a few more matches to go through here, so let's not get too deep into it. If I'm to basically hit the nail on the head or to cap it off, most of these wrestlers, when they become a heel, they get to be more of themselves and they take it to the moon. And that's happened more with heels than it has faces, because this is not the 1980s anymore. You know, this is present day. And when people get to be a bit of more themselves, you look at Roman Reigns, you look at Stone Cold, the whole 316 pioneering thing started off with him as a heel. He wasn't a face, and then people came to love him.
100.
Even when Hulk Hogan turned heel, which nobody saw coming. Look what it did.
Look what it did. They changed the NWO. A lot of people still didn't like Hogan.
Because they were cool.
They liked the people he was hanging out with, and he thought it was for him.
Right.
But at the same time, people got sick of the red and yellow until they began to realize how much they were missing it. But either way.
So who's picking? Who did we pick on this?
So I had gone Edge. I had gone Edge, so I had got that.
I think did everyone go Edge on this one, didn't they?
Yeah, everyone went Edge on it.
Right. Here we go. We're going to bring up the moment that pissed Leon right off. Bobby Lashley versus the Nigerian giant Omos. And again, guys, it's a spoiler episode.
You know what?
The big man got the win.
You know what, right? I'm going to go ahead and start this one, right? I knew this was going to happen, so it didn't surprise me. Even when MVP came with the stick, from that moment, I was like, see, knew that was going to happen. Because there's going to be a rubber match. There's going to be that final third match. You know what? There might even be a fourth. But at the end of the day, I knew it was going to go that way. And if anything, if they were trying to save the wrestler, then that would have been the right time to do it. That's all I have to say on it, really. I haven't really got much to say on it. And I chose him. Then I went against him when I knew it was going to go that way. That's all I got to say about that.
My apologies, Leon, because I went next after you, and I convinced you somehow to change by just the thing was in my head I was like they're pushing Bobby big, so Bobby kept winning against this giant, and they're gonna make Bobby win again, and you're gonna have MVP get more stern with Omos, and then start Omos's winning streak after that, and then not what Bobby said, to separate them right away. So I just wanted I wanted to be different than y'all. And I thought, this was a 50-50 match. Anyone win, it doesn't matter. Anyone lost, it doesn't matter. So
another thing I was saying here is like Seth Rollins, Bobby Lashley can afford that loss. It doesn't do anything to his credibility. And
especially when by chiefing.
Oh yeah, Omos could win that rubber match. And
by theft. For anyone who's not familiar with that, by theft. He won by theft.
Omos could win that third match. And then they could go their separate ways. Bobby Lashley could still come up and go win the title the very next day. He could win he could lose the next match. He could lose the fourth match. MVP runs away with Omos and does his thing. And MVP could go for the United States title the very next day, and he'd go and win it. And his credibility wouldn't go down a bit. Whereas if Omos loses, well, you might as well phase him out with the rest of the wrestlers that got let go.
Omos would have been dead in the water because he had lost at Mania, and then having MVP in his corner and then losing again would have just finished him. This gives him credibility. Again, when we talk about what's next. I'm still waiting for the twerk. I will say at every episode that Omos is mentioned, there was a twerk. He will be trying to join the New Day.
He will twerk.
Well, my opinion on this is like simple, isn't it? Like for me, it was clear as day. Omos had to win for the reasons you just said, AJ, and for the fact that I think WWE does want to do something with him as the resident biggest of the big guy. Yeah, there. What's it? 2022 Great Khali. Yeah,
Bro, it's even bigger than that. Do you know Undertaker has spoken about this guy and compares him to Andre the Giant? Are you mad?
Oh, Jesus Christ!
Are you mad?
what can you say? Like that is a great compliment. I don't see that being remotely true at the moment, but hey,
more Giant Gonzalez.
Yes, Giant Gonzalez.
But but the point remains though is that like he had to win this match, innit? And you guys are right. Bobby can take a loss, and still chug along. But ultimately, I think Bobby's probably gonna win this. But then by that point, I feel almost like you say, he can just move on and like do whatever he's gonna do, like against someone else. You'll have gold by the end of this year.
Here's the question again: when we're saying where does this go for each person? Are they trying to recreate the Hurt Business with Omos?
Money bank winner, almost.
But I keep seeing Cedric Alexander popping up. Like, what is
he's just there to get abused. Literally.
Then might have just.
Is he? So he's not aligning. He just happens to have some kind of vendetta against
He just shows up. He gets his ass whipped by what do you call it? Bobby. He's soon gonna get his ass whipped by Omos. Yeah, because that seems to be where it's heading. So
don't shouting about with any of this.
No,
I just said Omos, Money in the Bank winner. What do you
know? What? You know what?
That's a good shout. That's actually a good shout. Yeah,
it's actually possible.
The fact that Den just mentioned that, right? That oh my god, that could actually come so true. And then MVP could do $1 million man and buy the briefcase off of Omos, and then he cashes in for a belt.
MVP's once the days of winning anything is over.
But then who's to say that Money in the Bank briefcase is just for the world title?
It's for any title in WWE. That's what they keep repeating that line now. I'm going to say any title. That means some idiot's going to cash it in for the UK Championship.
Please don't ever make him cash it in for the pay-per-view. If you do that, you just killed Money in the Bank, really.
But you'll probably get one of these things where Ricochet's going to have... Oh, fuck's sake, I'm putting that in the air. Ricochet's going to have this awesome victory against someone, and then out of nowhere, oh my god, it's the Nigerian Giant. Here he comes. What's he doing?
Is he Nigerian?
No, they don't need to do that. Giant. But I guarantee that Omos will have gold before the end of this year, and I'm looking at Ricochet.
Well, wait, he's Nigerian. Why isn't he coming up with? Why isn't he teaming up with that Nigerian guy?
Coming in? Apollo. I actually think that would be the thing. I think that to me, I'd build a Nigerian faction. I would have Apollo, Commander
General Aziz,
General Commander. Yeah, I would have those guys doing a bit. That's my thing. But for now, I see Bobby. I would like to see Bobby going up into the main picture. I just can't see it with Omos. I know it's coming. I just don't want to. I don't want it to happen.
So
honestly, I truly believe Bobby is Roman's next feud, unless the rumors about that are true. But we'll talk about it later.
We'll get to that. I just want to touch on it very. Come again?
So everyone's picked in this one was myself and Leon was Bobby and everyone else, Nico, yourself, and Big Tone.
Just because you mentioned the name earlier, Big Tone, before I do come on to the next match, which we'll fly through as well. Has anyone heard about the whole situation where Kota Ibushi is talking about the mistreatment of stars in NJPW?
No.
Oh no, I haven't.
Yeah, something to do with he was meant to be on a show recently, and he got pulled from it, and he's blaming NJPW. So it's looking like he might be leaving there. If he were to leave, where do you guys think he would?
AEW to be with his boyfriend.
Kenny's boy, that's literally the way I saw it going as well. Right, here we go.
They've got a relationship going on there already, so it's a no-brainer, really.
And WWE is just bastards. They just hire you to fire you.
And I mean, let's be honest.
And their history,
when you look at the Nakamura treatment,
New Japan, exactly with New Japan stars, the treatment with Kushida as well. Nobody from New Japan should be looking at WWE and thinking,
unless WWE is giving a good paycheck because they do a soft.
If you're about money, go there. Go there, get your
No,
ass kicked for
not
6
that.
years. Why not?
They do. They got a softer style, so they're not hard. They're softer. They're trying to look after the wrestlers, and you get paid good. That's why AJ re-signed. That's
Yeah.
why everyone. What's his name again? Everyone that's re-signed has re-signed because you work a lighter match. You don't have to go
Do
and
you know
take
what? It's
hard
that, and
shots.
you've got to be honest. Even merchandise, as much as AEW's doing their thing, if you can get over in WWE, your merch. I mean, people are still humming Nakamura now. Like his merch is still going to do stuff. The royalties there have to be better than you're getting anywhere
And
else.
then later, just as you're about to finish, then you go to one of these indie shows and then cash in even bigger because you were a WWE guy.
Yeah, the stock behind it. Yeah, it's insane. Right,
Well,
here we go.
Ultimately, that's probably Nakamura's plan. So
Yeah,
as well as Asuka as well.
What was that?
As well as Asuka as well.
Yeah, but Asuka does that bit. You can't deny what Asuka's done. Asuka is literally, as
Asuka is
said
the one successful Japanese star they've done.
Asuka has platinumed WWE. She's done everything in NXT. She's
multi-time world champion.
She's done it everywhere.
World champion, exactly. Could you imagine the rise if she went to AEW after this? Wow.
Well, like I said,
actually,
I feel
no, because AEW
AEW
got a good women's division. Ain't good.
It's a lot better now. It's a lot better, but it'll be a lot more better. That's what I'm saying. It'll be a lot more better if you could get a megastar. If you could get a Charlotte, if you could get an Asuka, if you could get a Sasha. Yeah.
All right. Here we go. Here's one of those moments that, to me, it was a what the fuck moment, and some people have reacted. While we're on the AEW topic and the women's division, Thunder Rosa has come out and said her feud with Britt Baker will probably never end. It's as big as Rock and Austin.
No. No. She feel free to believe that. She can feel free to believe that because you want to be. You never want to think I'm below everyone else. You want to think you're the best and you're the star and you're the one that's everyone's talking about.
Yeah, exactly.
So
I rate the moxie. I rate the bigging up of yourself, the self-confidence. But come on.
It would have been better if she said as big as Lita and Trish Stratus. I would have been like,
yes,
but not rocking
yes,
off.
I would have been with her. Yeah. Because to be honest, like there's very few feuds in the world, that you could even say come close to Rock and Austin with the two big stars
in pro wrestling history.
You know what? You're right in history.
Yeah. If I were to ever give it to two women, though, I think I'd have to give it to Sasha and Charlotte. That's the only one that could come anywhere near it.
Honestly, I mean, I'm not saying in terms of match quality, but in terms of names, probably Charlotte Ronda is probably as close as you can get.
Yeah. We'll come on to that shortly. But before
possibly even Becky Lynch and Bianca Belair as well. I would rather give it to them two more than
that's not going to go anywhere. In terms of the legendary history, I would love it to for Bianca's purpose, but it's not there yet.
Becky versus Ronda is going to be great.
That is the build-up that we're going to.
That's what
Charlotte versus Bianca is going to be great as well.
This was the match. Yeah. There we go. So we're going on to the next match now, which I personally called back in. I think we called it one of the piss break part 2 with the highest bet.
I didn't even remember about this match. Jesus Christ.
You know what? The match was all right, man. The match was all right.
Right. Once again, I go for the recommendation. Would y'all recommend me to watch this match?
No, you can skip it. But the match was all right. It wasn't a dud. And to be honest, it went exactly how it should go. Like Mad Cat is the guy you're trying to get over. He's actually getting a great reaction, far more than I ever would have expected. I probably was one of the only people that laughed along with the dumb jokes because they were just so shit that you just couldn't help but laugh. And like that has translated over to him being a face. And it's working so far. Where he's able to go, I do not know, because no one who's won that Andre the Giant Battle Royal thing has ever seemed to have done anything of note. Yeah.
Personally, I think that you look at AEW when they put all the belts on the line, the whole pay-per-view has been fire. That personally for me could have been another title match, whether it was the IC or whether it was the United States. But I guess they just had to put another match on there for whatever sake. I don't know.
Man didn't want it on the card.
As Too Sweet Tony said, for the piss break. So
The
that was
sad
probably
thing is,
your chance to
do
go
you
and,
know
you
the
know what I
sad
mean?
thing behind this, right? We talk about building characters. We put two guys on the card who have built the storyline. And what do we call it? The piss breaker, not even worthy of being on the card.
I said, it's all right. It was fine. It's not gonna like move any numbers, but it was fine.
Personally,
So
I
match up
think
one, right?
that match could have been on the pre-show, which would have left the slot for two other wrestlers or four to have that spot, basically. Because on the
Did
pre-show, all they did was yap, 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 and
Leon,
that
I
could have
rate
been
you
the
so
spot.
hard for being the only for actually still.
Did
I cannot
did
do
what's
it.
it called again? Madcap win.
Yes.
Yep.
There you go.
Yeah.
What's the next
Now-
match again?
Again?
I don't think
What's the
any
next
of us
match?
picked
I'm trying to move on.
Corbin.
So, but here's the question though: what
Cool.
comes next? Because this feud is obviously going to die out pretty quickly. Now,
Oh.
looking at it, if Corbin still looked like he did before, I think he would have been a perfect fit for Judgment Day. Him and Priest as a tag team could have been awesome. But there's Happy
actually
Corbin
too-
on
he's
the
too
other
big
side.
for
I don't
that.
know where else.
Plus, it's too
I
big
like Happy
for.
Corbin. He's funny. He's another Miz, to be honest.
Yeah,
Boogs
he's a bit.
could take his place.
Corbin's actually a really, really good wrestler and a good character, and he held WWE down for years. Like held not down, but kept things
He
going
propped him.
for
He done it.
years.
Especially
Propped
He's
them up,
consistent.
propped them up. Yeah,
He's
as,
consistent.
as Big Tom just said, he's another Miz. You got someone that you can turn up, have a match, he can win, lose, he can be Happy Corbin, a demon Corbin. To be able to, you just can't be a face.
It always works when you give
I
somebody.
wonder. I honestly wonder. Honestly, I know I said I thought the Nakamura heel turn was going to work and it sunk. I wonder if a Corbin face turn would actually have
They tried it.
They tried it with the.
Don't
being
you remember
broke.
they tried it? It was sad
He was
Corbin.
broke,
We were supposed
sad,
to feel
walking
sorry for
around.
him and cheer
But by
him.
the time he was happy, if he didn't play a dickhead, I reckon people would have been honest.
Nah. The
They
reason
would
why
have been
said
on it like Happy Corbin. Happy
Bro,
Corbin was
look,
so much more bad.
look at some of these guys who have always been that way. Take the Damien Sandows, who were really meant to be that dick that no one cared about, to the world cheering and loving them. Like Mizdow was huge. It was like must watch TV.
Yeah.
Damien Sandow was bad because
Corbin
they
on
told
that
us given
Happy
to
Corbin
him.
run could have been like I don't know, like a favorite version of Ted DiBiase, and I reckon it would have worked as well. And then obviously
face.
it's the ultimate setup for when you're ready to make him become heel again. It's the perfect ultimate
People
setup.
hate rich
The thing
people, Leon.
The thing was, yeah,
We all
exactly.
hate rich people.
Plus,
You know what it is.
Oh, but then obviously the difference to
He
$1
didn't have
Million
to
Man
flash
is
the
he
money,
could
but it
be-
could have been the come up. The come up
he
story
could have
went
been
from all
giving
the
away
money.
money.
My life's back
Look
on
at-
track. You know what? Fuck the money. Now let's get a title. And I see Corbin or a US Corbin being happy and lucky. Like Lucky Corbin could have been something. And it's how
Yeah,
when will the luck run
I'm
out?
not being funny,
he
but Vince McMahon had this thing where he was giving away money every week. That would have worked with Corbin.
Nah, but that was one of the worst segments like in the history of Raw. Do you remember them?
That was terrible.
They
At
were
the end,
Really
terrible.
closed it off with
At
the
the
ring.
end
No
of
one-
it, yeah,
and no
but then
one won
obviously
the
I'm not
money.
saying that you're going to have a
No
piece
one
of
got the money.
scaffolding or whatever full on Baron Corbin, but he could have been giving away money.
Oh yeah, that's how it ended, didn't it?
Wow,
Exactly.
wow, I can't feel my legs.
Right.
The thing was,
But it could have been a moment, yeah, where he brings someone in the ring, he makes out like he's going to give them a prize, and he just beats the shit out of them. Obviously, a work fan, because you know that's what
That
they
would
do
got
when
a
they
lot
bring
of
someone
heat.
out the
That
crowd.
would have got a lot of heat.
But there you go. This is what I'm saying. It's the ultimate setup.
it's just Corbin's character, his actual character, has been a heel since day one.
But
It's
he's not
a
got over.
hard.
No,
It's
it
a hard
wasn't
way.
an NXT.
Yeah,
He started off as a good
Yeah,
guy.
but for main roster Corbin, I think the only time I sound like I said main roster Corbin, the only time I
Million
think Corbin, wow, but lucky enough.
Hey, man, happy. Yeah, give me a joke, man. Give me a joke now. Mad Cat, give me a joke, man.
I think the only time that he worked for me was when he was part of the Authority and he was Constable Corbin. Anything else, I found has been really weak for Corbin on the main roster.
Waistcoat.
What, you don't like Happy Corbin? I like Happy Corbin, man.
I think it needs. To be fair, I need to watch more weekly TV to be able to know what Happy Corbin's doing for me. But it's still not talked about, and I believe this guy has the potential to be talked about. I also believe that you could be pissed with Madcap. You should be on the ultimate biggest vendetta right now for Drew, who finally kicked out of your flipping finisher. That should be the feud.
Yes. Yes.
They barely mentioned
They
that
need to
though.
mention.
Like,
They should mention it.
they kind of
and come
breezed
back.
past that.
They can always bring it back though, because look at some of these feuds here when you bring back stuff from years ago, and it somehow becomes, you know, a relevant rivalry again. They can bring that back, but you'd have to
Nah,
build
man.
that.
They
Do
don't
you know how
care.
you do
We're
it
giving
now
this,
to make it
too much
really
time.
relevant?
We're giving too much time.
You know how you do it now to make it relevant? You wait till it's Drew versus Roman, have that bastard interfere and be like, oh yeah, you think your Claymore's worth something?
If they do that, people are not going to be happy because we're done with the whole Happy Corbin,
Exactly.
Drew McIntyre
Let him.
feud. Yeah.
No, but
So
bring it back.
let them go
If
their
that's
own separate ways.
if
Yeah.
that's the case, yeah, then make him into that lone wolf again. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to have hair.
I reckon they should do that. I honestly reckon they should do
make
that.
him that
They should
lone
bring
wolf
back the lone
and
wolf
make him come back from that
character.
heel run.
This is what I'm saying. Lone Wolf would have been good Judgment Day, but I think here,
Lone Wolf will come.
while Drew's in a 3-2-1 as he's about to go for that run, pull the leg, fuck him up.
Yeah.
Create a serious feud.
Moving
That
on.
would be my way.
Look,
that's a
I
great
tell you
one.
what, Drew
What's next
has
match?
got like other people to fight. Like again, Judgment Day is gonna fight like quite a few people, and I reckon some of them they're gonna face this year is probably gonna be Drew, Bobby, and Cody. Yeah, I reckon somewhere along the line they're gonna cross lines. So I feel that's the whole point of Judgment Day is to type of cycle in people while they're fighting Roman. Yeah, that is their next thing. Omos as well, you can put in that lineup. Yeah, so basically they're just cycling them out to fight each other. Yeah. So I have to say, like, AJ is done with Judgment Day. It could be AJ versus Roman to get squashed by him. Yeah. Then, like, you know, we could even do Balor again, yeah, to get squashed by him. But then in the meantime, Drew fights Omos. Then in the meantime, Cody is fighting Judgment Day. Yeah, you know, it's all they're all gonna circle around like a conveyor belt till Mania.
Okay, right, here we go. Let's talk about the top of the SmackDown Women's Division, the one that Dan knew he was going to lose, but his heart just would not permit him to say any other way. The I Quit match, Charlotte Flair. I was going to do a woo, but my voice just really isn't there. Versus the rowdy one, Ronda Rousey.
Then, in your own words, explain why you hate Ronda so much.
I don't hate her. I really dislike her. I dislike her personality, her character, who she is. It's just her in herself.
Well, what about the character? What about the character of WWE?
The character in WWE, what she's playing right now is she's meant to be babyface right now, right?
Yeah.
Make her a heel. She's a natural heel. She naturally is a heel. She's a sourpuss. I have to win everything. If I don't get what I want, if I don't get my way,
I think she's killing it as a face though at the moment. You know,
is she? Is she getting a script
on,
right?
She's kind of on this rogue kind of run. So it's like if you like her, you like her. If you don't like her, fuck you in it. Like she's still gonna do her thing, basically.
Yeah. Do your thing.
It's all about who she fights.
This is the thing.
Right
like
now,
as soon as Ronda goes up against another popular face, then Ronda's gonna get booed.
But she'll take on
she'll
take on the heel that is Becky, and they'll have to do a double turn again. And people are going to say it once again. Ronda was pissed off because of the way the crowd reacted to her. This is the problem that Ronda has, right? They signed to WWE. And this is me quoting Meltzer for once, and she expected the fans to just buy into her and love her. The problem is when you're too dominant, sometimes that's when the fans lose you. Happened to Roman, happened to Cena. And it happened to Ronda because it's like, well, what's next? It's like, yeah, okay, we're happy you won, but it's boring. And that's why I agree with Den. She needs that heel run where it's like, yeah, you're going to be bored of me because I'm destroying you.
Yeah. Sourpuss. That's what she is. Sorry, I'll keep saying that wise because I'm a UFC fan through and through. And Nico, I'm glad he's not here right now because he would defend her saying she's the greatest woman fighter of all time. And I would like, no, she's not, but she helped bring UFC to the big to the women's fighting to the masses, which that was a case of she was a blonde, good-looking girl that can kick ass. She came into the division. When she came into that weight class, anyone that was good against her in that weight class wasn't good enough to beat her at the time. So she was just running through people. She was smashing it. I became a bit of a fanboy and also telling other people, come and watch this. I see my female friends coming and watching like, oh my God, this Ronda Rousey is so great, which I'm glad about bringing to the fight. But then UFC has this show thing where you get to see the people behind the scene, and she showed her character, how she is, because she's a winner and she wants to win all the time. She hates losing, and she just gets a sourpuss look on her face. And I was like, oh,
Ultimate
okay,
Fighter
that's
you're
who.
talking about, right?
Ultimate, but yeah. And I was like, okay, that's who you are. But you know what? Cool, because I understand that I want to win all the time. What soured me from her is when she lost her first time ever, and she went away and she didn't talk to anyone. She just went away, disappear. I know what it's like losing like that. It makes you feel. Well, I don't not like that because I was on a big scale. You feel like shit. You disappear. You feel like crap. But everything she talks about is she didn't lose because she didn't train, because she thought she could actually punch with an actual boxer, got her ass knocked out. Said she was training with the worst coach ever. Edmund was the worst, and she just hype her up. So she
Disrespect.
came back, and when she was coming back, she thought she was gonna dominate. The UFC was hoping she dominate against at the time the real baddest woman on the planet at that point. And the fight when she lost, when she got kicked to the head and she got knocked out, that was one thing. This was a beating. She got
You're talking about Nunes.
yes, she got her ass whooped. And I just still don't even think Nunes is the baddest, but she got her ass whooped by
Who's
Nunes.
better than Nunes? I would say Nunes is the GOAT.
No, what's her name again? The one that I know Nunes beat her, but it was in the wrong weight class. Ah, bloody
Cyborg.
hell. No, not Cyborg, man. Cyborg just looks like, I'm sorry to say this, she just looks like a roided up individual. And I have no respect for people that takes performance exalted. If she's not taking it right now, she clearly did at one point. The genetics are not, female genetics are not made like that.
Wasn't it Humes or whatever her name is? You're talking about her? The one that beat Ronda.
No, she was being that one. I'm so sorry to say this. She's blonde, Russian. She's a champion, the weight class down. And I would get her name before the end of this
I know
thing.
you're talking about. I don't know her name.
But Jesus, she can fight.
That's deep.
And she's improving and she's trying to learn new things all the time. But yeah, my thing with Ronda was when I saw that, and then also not shaking your opponent's hand. If you know anything about fighting and UFC stuff like that, it's a case of respect. Respect your opponent. She showed zero respect to all of her opponents. Every single one of her opponents she go against.
Sorry, just for the purpose. Is it Juliana Pena?
No, oh fuck no! She's gonna get whooped. But I'll get her name. Sorry.
But this
Julia Pena is right now.
This makes sense as to why Den is saying that she would make a better heel in WWE without going too far into UFC.
But you look at that. You just look at Ronda. Ronda smiles on her way to the ring, but she also pulls off this screw face, which does kind of generate heel heat. I don't think it's hard for Ronda to beat a heel. I know that people, and what I love about people like Ronda, and I'll even bring it to Brock, is when they do lose and they have this screw face on them or something, people seem to be that it seems like it's off script. Every time Ronda loses or something, like Ronda lost at Mania. Oh, she's pissed off. Yeah. It was off script. They changed it last minute. She fucking knew she was losing. It's a fact. But they buy into it. And I think that's what these legit, I shouldn't say legit, they are actually legit.
I mean, I'm personally going to just have to play contrarian to your
Valentina.
I think that she's fine as a face. Like, yes, she could probably do heel better, but she sort of incorporated a bit of the more heelish like aspects into her face run this time. When she's like, I was hoping you'd say that, bitch, yeah, before she tapped out Charlotte, yeah. That's the type of more badassery, sort of Steve Austin type good guy, rather than your sugary Hulk Hogan, like, say your prayers, drink your milk and all that type
I'm down with that. I'm down with that. But I think when it comes to the time of her versus Becky will still be chin. And that's where...
Yeah, of course Becky, because Becky is WWE's person. She was homegrown. She basically literally was somebody who came up in it from... what was it? Like... what's that? River dancing on NXT. She came up to be the man, the biggest star in WWE at one time by herself.
If you've seen Raw, it's almost like they're trying to make Becky become that favorite again. And when you watch Raw, you'll know what I'm talking about if you've not seen it already. But it looks like they're trying to swing her towards that way, whilst Ronda Rousey will become the heel. And if they're to face each other by, I don't know, SummerSlam, then it might actually be that way where Becky's the favorite and Ronda's the heel.
So here's the thing.
Ronda should be a dominant
Becky will
champion
be
right now.
faced
She
by
shouldn't-
Mania.
Right now, Ronda should dominate and be a champion from now to
Yep.
Mania again, and have her and Becky going against each other, and she should beat Becky for WWE. So for the way that it's set up, she should be the dominant champ and run things right now, just run through people.
I
By the
actually don't
way,
have an argument with that.
what's it called again? Was it Valentina Shevchenko? Or whatever
Okay, cool. Thank you. So
But-
just for anyone who's listening, literally screaming down the
Yes, I'm so
transmission.
sorry. If
No,
y'all
it
know
happens,
me,
bro.
I've got no. It happens all the time at me. Everyone's name for me is what's the name again? that's the name.
So here we go. When we say what's next, I just saw it not too long ago. WWE have announced that Charlotte, following the match, will be out of action indefinitely or something due to the injury sustained. So I reckon Charlotte's taking a bit of a break at the moment.
Yeah,
What's
she
next
is.
for Ronda?
Ronda.
Who's next for Ronda, shall I say?
Who's on the roster?
Bailey is going to come back and going against Ronda because they already started.
That'd be a good shout. That'd be
They
a
already
good
started
shout.
their talk, and knowing Bailey, she can be the chicken shit heel, where I can beat you, get your ass beat really quickly, so Ronda have to work that hard, and then come back and say, "Oh no, you beat me because of this happened," and then make up a new rule. And okay, if you can't do the armbar, I bet you I could beat you, and do the interviews.
What about Sonya Deville? Do you think she's a
Well,
possibility?
she's back on the roster, but she's Raw.
Yeah, she's
doesn't
Raw
mean
for
nothing
now, but to
anymore.
be honest, she's on SmackDown as well. She's on whatever show they want her to be on.
Yeah.
So
I think the title should just
Same
bounce
thing I was
around the
thinking about.
shows. Especially the women's title. There's only one. Is there a Raw and
There's a Raw and a
title?
SmackDown.
Oh yeah, shit.
Sasha and Naomi, who would have been top contenders, are holding the tag title, so that's not going to be worth anything. Natalia and
they're
Shayna.
faces.
To be fair, Shayna would have been awesome, but
You know what? Shayna's a
part of the
good
whole
shout.
thing.
Thank you, AJ. Like, I feel that they're gonna do that. Like, they're not doing it properly because, to be honest, that could have been a Mania main event that could have done properly. But like, unfortunately, Shayna has not been booked as NXT Shayna. NXT Shayna was the business. Yeah,
I think
I'm sure they will press a button. I'm sure they'll press a button and sort of rejig her for a month, kind of like they did when they had Brock fight Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe was that badass that we knew in NXT for a month. Yeah, and then he went back to whatever they was doing.
The thing is, there's always been a pop from the WWE universe when they have a UFC versus UFC or UFC versus MMA guy. They did it with Brock Kane Velasquez. You know, they can do it with Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler. You know, there's always a big pop. Even in the Royal Rumble, when you see them have that little mini face, there's always a big pop. So, you know, that's something that could work. But WWE have got to do it right in order for it to work. Because if they kind of slap people in the face with this tomfoolery, then it's just going to waste people's time and it won't get anywhere. It'll just be.
I actually think it's a pity. I actually think it's a pity that Charlotte left before they had a chance to develop it in a way. I think a rematch with that. I don't know. I've just had this vision, fantasy booking. I've thought of a female faction that would have worked called the Queen's Club. You've got all these different queens out there, and I think having the Queen Charlotte do it and having someone like Shayna come out, everyone's going to expect Shayna to help Charlotte for whatever reason to help Ronda. Screwjob leaves it out, and that could have built the feud between them, and it would have had this thing, and it would have been the Queen.
Who else in there? Queen Selena.
I would have had Queen Zelina as a mouthpiece. I would have had Charlotte obviously as the main, and the Queen of Hearts and the Queen of Spades as a tag.
See, the problem you're having right now is the women's division. If you think about it in WWE, is not that large.
That's the problem.
Ronda's already run through everyone in her last run. She ran through everyone.
So this is the thing. It legit comes down to Shayna's the only one she hasn't touched.
It's a repeat, yeah. It's a
repeat.
See, isn't it a pity that WWE chickened out of the whole push they was gonna do for Shayna prior to the brand split, the last brand split, when Shayna was just beating up people on Raw and like putting out people permanently. Yeah, and then they seem to back away from that.
Not as hell.
Yeah, that's just Hell in a Cell. Nothing.
What's the one with the,
more
with the
insane
cake
than Hell in a Cell.
with the thing where they can escape?
Elimination Chamber,
Chamber,
where she
sorry,
killed all
Elimination
6
Chamber.
competitors.
She took her over to the corner, looked someone in the eye, and just choked her out, and then put her down and wait for it to come out. Like, I was like, yes, they're giving us this. This is what they should be doing. WWE is doing it. A company is doing it, and then everyone forgot about her.
After
Because
Mania, she lost, and that was it. Vince didn't like her.
She wasn't blonde, and she's not. She had that hairline like mine right now.
Also, they ruined her music. Why do they keep changing people's music and giving them dudden versions
licenses
than the
mate,
classic
licenses.
stuff they had? No, WWE owned that music.
No.
Like
Ricochet, you know that happened with
they changed that they owned that.
that situation with Keith Lee
with
was
the
a
said
huge
artist that
nah,
had the
but
problem
Shayna
with it.
Baszler's tune in it, yeah, they owned that. Yeah, that's not like what's it with Keith Lee, like you say. They actually owned that tune, like, but they've changed it to a more naff version. Damian Priest's tune as well, yeah. The second tune is just naff compared to the first one. Like, they keep doing it, man.
And changing people's names. Don't forget that part. I'm surprised that she's still called Shayna Baszler and not just Shayna.
Yo, that's coming. She's gonna be Baszler soon.
Wow, she's got 2 names. Well done, Shayna. It'll be Shayna. Hey,
nah, it's be Baszler. I bet money it's gonna be Baszler.
Cool. Well, there we go. That's the new bet. It's gonna be Shayna or it's gonna be Blazer.
Tune into the Ministry of Wrestling as we discuss this. Right. Okay. Now for the main event, the Bloodline, Roman and the Usos versus, as Nico called it, I'm gonna give him his props, R. Clay Bro. I think that's an awesome name. Randy Orton, Drew McIntyre, and Mr. Riddle, a man formerly known as Matt Riddle.
Ex-UFC fighter that they haven't even talked about.
That was the result at the end of the night.
He took it.
Yeah.
If anyone's going to take it from that team, but if anyone's going to take the pin, no.
They did swerve us, but then it makes the whole thing.
I think everyone
makes the whole thing, and everyone said Bloodline. It makes the whole thing like, what was the point, really? This was the filler. This was literally just filler.
I can understand why they probably went this way, because if you look at the last couple of weeks, RK Bro have been getting one over the Usos for how many weeks now? And obviously Roman's really comfortable in his position. And they just kind of wanted to give everyone that kind of hope to be like, oh, you know what? Maybe they could beat them, maybe they could turn it around to kind of make them have a different outlook. But then I don't know.
That's not how you do it, by making them lose in the main event of Backlash.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Vince, this feels like another last minute Vince change. And if that's the case, then that's why the Bloodline won.
Is it that, or is it that we all saw it coming this way, and it just meant titles or non-titles, the Bloodline are just dominant? That could have been the whole mindset behind it.
That's nice and all, but you're trying to build up Drew as the next credible contender to Roman, and you just lost. He didn't take the pin, but it doesn't matter. His team lost.
Technically, they could have still made our Clay Bro. I like that so much. Like Nico said, like kudos to Nico for that. They could have still made them. They could have still made them win, but Roman doesn't take the pinfall. Do you know what I mean?
That's what should have happened.
It would have been
Jimmy. Should have been Jimmy.
And then it goes back to that point where Roman was beating the shit out of his cousin. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think we would have got that. He would have enforced law on them. I
personally think how it should have happened is that like Drew Claymore kicks Jimmy out of assistance. All right, they win 1, 2, 3. Roman gets angry. He batters everyone. Like he almost kills Drew, gives him like 17 chair shots, and it ends with the Bloodline still standing tall. Yeah, and therefore you further the storyline without making Drew and RK Bro look like chumps, because they do now.
But yeah, if we'd picked RK Bro, we'd have said it would have been the person that took the pin. It would only could be
a 15-minute beatdown at the end.
Randy can't take the pin, and Drew can't take the pin.
So in the
But at the
follow
same-
up to this
Yeah,
whole
so it would have been Riddle. Riddle can
video,
take
which
it.
it was.
You could. It's only. But what I'm saying is, what everyone was, because I saw the thing online. Everyone's looking forward to the tag team unification match, and then it became a triple threat. So this match died way before the pay per view even come about. So as soon as it went to a triple threat match, I was like, "What's the point?"
I'll tell you what though, they put on. It raised it raised the bar from what I expected from it.
They did.
Oh, the quality the quality of the match was great. Like, no
yeah.
one is discounting that. Yeah, like, yes, then that's
Recommendations?
one for you to watch.
That's a
There
one
were
to watch.
definitely
That's a one.
there were definitely points
So
in that
open and
match where
close.
you really thought that our Clay Bro were gonna win that. Like it was almost reminiscent to the Seth versus Cody match. It kind of had you thinking, "Oh, are they gonna beat them?" But in the end, obviously, you saw what happened. Bloodline rules.
Here's the next thing, right? So now we talk about what's next, right?
Here we go, the big one.
Here's the thing. So Nico's even done a little review video on it. There was this talk of Roman talking about not being here for a while. He then put out a video, which I don't know if you've seen it. I'll try and share it. It was absolutely hilarious. So he talks about everyone in that match. Of course, it was a big match, and he's in the gym. He's like, "This is what we do. This is what champs do. You're in the gym right after a match." He goes, "This was a Hall of Fame worthy match." Well, except for Riddle, but he'll learn. But he then talked about he's not going anywhere, or maybe he will. And there's now rumors that our double champ is actually going to be on a 10-week break. He's not listed on any more house shows. So what is the angle that WWE going to take next?
But from what I've heard,
everyone.
like what Wrestle Talk was there, I don't know. Like it's basically the dates are split. So basically, he's just going to do a Brock Lesnar while he films whatever films he's doing. Yeah, he's going to take the titles, and like this is why it's probably going to be a good reason why Cody is going to be like the United States champion, because again, that might be the main champion on Raw because for a while Roman is taking his hiatus to shoot whatever he's shooting. Maybe Roman will lose one of the titles. Yeah, maybe Money in the Bank. Like someone wins, someone cashes in, but he keeps his Universal title. Yeah, so basically he can have that big match at WrestleMania.
And it keeps the number of days he's held that title up as well.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I see Roman just taking the time off and saying straight up, "I've beaten everyone. Now you guys fight against each other to see who's want to come against me." So he doesn't have to fight them. Like, yeah, you know what? You want another match against me?
He's 1/4 of the way to Bruno Sammartino already. So think about that too.
Is that far?
1/4. You held it for 8 years. Roman held that belt for 2.
But yeah, well, I think he can step back and go, you guys decide who I'm fighting next. So go.
Do you know before he went on a break? Because obviously I see a Drew feud coming. I think Roman Randy is. I think that's why I see the
that's coming.
Roman Randy.
I'm telling you, it's Drew, it's Randy, it's Bobby, and maybe then depending on the timing, it's going to be some more fillers like AJ or whatever. But then eventually we'll get to Cody.
Do you know what I think is going to be? Do you know when I think is going to lead to Cody? And it's only just hit me now, right? I think it's going to happen post-Rock. I think we're going to see a situation where he will talk about dominance in families. He'll take out the Ortons. He'll finish Randy. He will then even beat his own family and be like, I've defeated every family and what have you. I even had to beat my own family to prove dominance, right? The bloodline stands tall. And it will be at that point where he's promoting the
wrestling has more than one royal family.
Exactly that. That would be the way to intro.
You know, be great. Actually, no, it wouldn't be great, but what might happen, I'm thinking, because everyone has to fantasy book their own thing, and why they get disappointed when it doesn't happen. After WrestleMania, him and Rock have their match. He beats Rock. He comes out, cut a promo. I've done it. I'm the head of the family, head of the table. I don't need anyone. Like, what's it called? Cody come out and beat him that night. And beat him for that. I could beat everyone.
I think Sweet Tony has hit the nail right on the head there. Because obviously you look at Triple H, how long he held the title. He considers himself a wrestling family. You look at the McMahons, how the way they screw people out of belts and held the belt. That's another wrestling family. Then you have the Anoa'i family, the whole Samoan thing going on. So then obviously that would be the perfect time for the Rhodes to come and cash in. Not only does it pay homage to his father, he finally wins that title. You know, that's the best way.
So
for
is
that
he
to
getting
be
the Money in the Bank then?
I think it's better for a
Almost.
walkout. I think it's better for a walkout for that, especially because of the interest of that thing. Could you imagine? He's saying, "We the ones." Like when it comes to wrestling family, we the ones.
Yeah.
Followed by
That'd be
wrestling
awesome.
has more than one family. Bang.
Mm.
That's how
But
this is going to
WWE's attention span may not last that long.
This is
So,
also true.
you know
And by that
what?
point, they
I
might
think
start
it
shitting
might
on
be better
Cody
to
as
put
well.
one of the belts on Cody like sooner rather than later before they, like,
You never know though, because he
they
actually
lose
took that
attention
chin.
and it doesn't happen at all.
Listen, let it come before Rock, let it come after Rock. But it has to play that bloodline feud in it. I think that would just be the
Otherwise,
perfect
what
feud.
would be the whole reason of taking that song into WWE?
Yeah.
I make you right, Tone. I make you absolutely right.
Thank you
I
very
have
much,
to
bro.
give props to you for that, sir.
Man.
I can't even.
I hope so.
I can't even top that. Like on that right there, I couldn't put it any better than
It's
Sweet Tony.
it's so messed up. All
But
I'm
let's
waiting
ask.
for-
Let's look well into the future, innit? Yeah, past
Double
Mania.
hash.
What happens with Reigns? Is he staying? Is he going? Because to be honest, after if Reigns has beat The Rock, yeah, like, is he gonna be in WWE anymore? Because the movie offers are already coming. He's probably the
This
next
is the thing.
crossover star.
He's gonna have those cameo show ups like The Rock did. How many times did The Rock go away and come back? Like twice, 3 times. It's gonna be the same for
So
Roman.
he won't be full time
That's-
anymore then. We
No.
were
That's
all
where you
thinking he's
have-
not going to be full time.
This is why I have him, because everyone keeps trying to find out who is going to take the title off him. Y'all saying Cody, so I'm going to jump on the Cody bandwagon as well. But
I mean,
I
like
think Cody's
gone
gonna
are
get
the
shit on
days.
this too.
Gone are the days where wrestlers are wrestling their whole lives. You look at Ric Flair right now. You know, that guy's. My brother was saying it the other day. Like that guy's probably got about 8, 10 years left in him. Do you know what I'm saying? I'd like to hope that he has more than that.
Outlive
But
all
gone
of
are
us.
the but gone are the days. But gone are the days where wrestlers are wrestling until they're like 60, 70 odd. Like, you know,
That's true.
they'd like to transition. I mean, you know, they'd like to transition into something different. You have to remember, like they've got family to think of. He's got a daughter. He's got a wife.
Not
You
on
know,
their
no
bodies.
one doesn't want to end
Roman's
up
got
like
like
Mick
5 kids,
Foley with constant chair shots to the head and, you know, like head
No one
head
has that
injuries.
anymore.
And no one doesn't want to end up like Ric Flair, where it's literally killing his body right now. No wrestler doesn't want to have their career like that. So
You
if
see,
that's the case, I'm happy for him. You know what I'm saying? He's got nothing left
Did
to
you see him
prove.
taking the
but-
bumps on social media the other day, though? With Jay
yeah, him
Lethal.
versus Jay Lethal. Yeah, he got
Cool.
slammed
And
by
Charlotte,
Jay Lethal.
That's the
Charlotte tweeted, "What the hell, Dad?"
That's the thing. That's the thing.
But-
And I was very worried for him when he did that promo. And I don't know whether he was doing it for himself or whether he was doing it for Jay Lethal or Jay Lethal wanted him to do it for him. But at the end of the day, the way
He
hold
did it
on,
for him.
the way it's looking right now with Ric Flair, it's like the hip hop industry seems to be looking after him better than the wrestling industry. Yes, I know there's history and there's a love-hate thing going on, and obviously there's things that won't be documented. You know, but there's things we know about, like the plane situation. There's things we don't know about, like how they've looked after him, the whole medical situation. But I don't want to see. I don't want this to be a consistent thing. Like, if you look how long Roman has been in wrestling so far, he doesn't owe anything. He doesn't owe anybody anything. He's been in NXT. He's been in WWE. He's held a title for how long? He's not. He's got nothing left to prove. So if that should be his last run, then credit to him, because look at how good The Rock's done so far since he's left.
I mean,
But
past
this is what
Mania,
everyone's
Roman.
asking.
past
There's a certain
Mania,
charisma
he
Rock
really
has,
has
though,
done
If that's the same
everything,
thing for Roman,
and
then
there's
so
nothing
be it.
for him to do.
Leon, this
Like,
is what
What
everyone's
is
he's
he
done
asking. though.
everything.
This is it.
Everyone's asking the question. No, everyone's asking. No one's saying for him to stay around. Everyone's asking who's going to take the title from him.
Nobody said
Ronaldinho
Cody.
was
The good question is, who is going to take the Universal title from him?
That's
Like,
what
I
I'm talking
reckon
about.
personally, Cody's going to get WWE title off him. Yeah.
I think Cody will get
Well-
it. And another thing that I forgot to mention recently, there's been talks apparently that Fox are like, this is cool, this whole joint title thing, but we want exclusivity again. We want the SmackDown stars to be on Fox only. So this title split may come up quicker than most expect.
I'm expecting
that's
SummerSlam, honestly.
If that's the
SummerSlam,
case,
yeah.
I'm gonna say Drew's gonna get the Universal, and Cody will get the WWE.
Drew's had his taste already. It needs to be someone fresh.
Didn't he win the WWE title?
Ricochet.
I would love
Almost.
that, but not gonna
Almost. They put it up. They put
I
it
would love
almost.
But that's what he had his
Nakamura.
taste.
I would love
Leon,
Nakamura
is
to
that
do it.
he's lost to Roman already.
As Roman almost had a match.
Granted, it was Survivor Series, but yeah, I don't know. But there is a big hype because I don't think Drew has ever beaten Roman, so that would be something when he does do
Drew
it.
McIntyre was always a Scottish warrior. This is what I'm saying. He can still come back and win that title.
All right.
You know, because in order for you to be a Grand Slam winner now, right? I would say you have to win both the Universal and the WWE title. And if if they end up being on different shows again, that's what makes a true Grand Slam.
Let's just really acknowledge something though. You're not a true Grand Slam unless you've held the 24/7 title.
And that too.
Well,
maybe that's a storyline for Omos then.
Do you know who's a real Grand Slam champion?
You know what? I'm gonna make a bold prediction. I'm like, if it happens, remember you heard it here first.
Oh, true.
Yeah.
Oh,
that
true.
like, you know, the person who actually might end up taking that title off Roman will be a returning Dean Ambrose.
Fuck.
Fuck.
That is actually a good call though. That would be something.
Wow.
Can you imagine it?
No,
because again, like they want him back. They'll need him back, and I reckon at some point,
you know what's
he's
good
gonna
about
come
that prediction? What's good about that prediction is Seth has already fought him as a tribal chief, so that just leaves the Dean Ambrose for true.
But will it even be Dean Ambrose that returns? Might it be John Moxley?
That is a good question. What is even more interesting though, and I mean this would be the ultimate fantasy. Could you imagine? I mean, Cody's crossed the boat. Could you imagine Kenny Omega was actually the one to take the Universal title off Roman Reigns?
Wow.
Look at you guys fantasy booking yourself into a hole.
I'm just taking a pick. I don't
know. We're just throwing madness out there.
Moxley could happen.
No one thought we were seeing Cody in the WWE ring again, let alone with his music. Let alone with the
you might as well throw Moose in that pot as well.
No,
Moose apparently got offered a chance to go back to like WWE reached out again, and he apparently re-signed with Impact. So,
well, of course, if I was Moose, I would re-sign with Impact as well because you know what? There's a lot of crowded, congested main event scene, especially in AEW. Yeah, so like you know, it's better to be on Impact and be their big star. Yeah, than go somewhere else.
Y'all trying out craziness, right? Imagine you hear Roman does his final speech, going away. This is it. Then you hear.
That would be something.
Now that's something stupid and crazy that you never think.
Well, you know what? To be honest, after Cody, I really do think anything could happen.
Listen, I've said it before.
Not CM Punk.
I've said it before,
he's one I don't see coming back.
From the fact that I honestly believed if there was a man who would never have come back, to me, it was Bret Hart. Especially, there was the whole Montreal bit.
Oh, yeah.
His brother died in that company. And he was like, screw them. And if Bret could swallow his pride and come back,
Warrior.
To me, anyone. Warrior.
Do you know who was on his way back as well before he died? Savage. Yeah. He was on the right path. He started, that's how they get you. Just be in our video games. That's all we need you for. Oh, just make a few appearances. Oh, can we put you in the Hall of Fame? And then bam.
Listen, Brock Lesnar trashed WWE. He came back. Goldberg fought never. He came back. Sting, the guy who never
saw that happen.
Signed with WWE. When Sting, they put him on the game, and I was like, okay, they've got the right. When he walked down a ramp, I was like, fuck me, it actually happened.
And what do? They end his career and kick him out.
I actually think
he had 4 matches.
I actually think he's unlucky. I think he
4 matches and he lost.
How is he unlucky where his first match is against Triple H and he has to lose? Where everyone's begging for the Undertaker match, they went, you're going to get Triple H and you're going to lose.
Obviously, he didn't have that Cody stroke, innit?
WWE done 2 fuck-ups. They didn't give us Taker Sting, but I think that was that. And the other one that they fucked up on a tag team scale, the Dudleys idolized LOD. LOD come back and they took on Hurricane Helms and Kane. Absolute fuck up.
Made legit sense. I don't see the problem there. That's legit. That makes sense. I'm being dumb.
Now, there's a lot of matches that should have happened over the years that didn't. For instance, obviously, like Stone Cold Hogan's got to be the biggest one that should have
That
happened.
was their own
and
politics,
didn't.
though. I can understand
That
that.
was-
And I know the
understand.
politics and everything, but I'm just saying that, that is probably the biggest match that could have happened to never happen.
Do you know which one I would have loved to have seen? HBK Rock. I think that could have been something.
Yeah, that's on my list as well.
That would never have happened.
Yeah,
Because
I know.
The
I know.
Rock
Politics,
hates-
egos.
Yeah. No, not
Yeah, I
politics. He
know.
just hates him because hates HBK
So
because he was a dick.
Yeah.
Out of,
HBK was a
the,
dick
out, of
and he
the,
never
out,
forgive
of
him.
the, out of the six and the six-man tag, have we covered everyone in terms of who goes where from here? Because we've done
That's a good
Roman,
shout.
we've done
We're
Riddler.
gonna-
We
Have
already
we
did
done
Roman. We already did Roman.
There's only one to
Riddler?
acknowledge.
Next, where
I
does
see
Randy
Randy
go?
might
from
do
here?
Uso's taking all the gold.
Randy is a future contender for Roman. Yeah. He's part of that lineup that Roman's going to smash on his way to Mania. Yeah. To be honest, that can factor into the eventual breakup between him and Riddle. Yeah,
Why
like
do you
Riddle
guys want the
Bukowski.
breakup so bad? Why is
I
everyone?
don't want the breakup, but it's happening.
everyone
It's
keeps
happening, man.
Everyone keeps going for the breakup, Why don't just
It's
not
happening.
break up?
It's
Why don't you just
WWE.
not
It's going to
break up?
happen. I don't want it to happen, but it's going to happen.
You know what? They've been teasing it here and there,
And
so that could
Randy
be
doesn't
actually
want
quite
it.
that could actually be quite a possibility in the near future. But having said that, where do the Usos go from here?
All the gold.
They're just going to stand
all the
behind
gold.
Roman all the
Roman.
way. While Roman has his gold, they're going to have their gold.
You're going to see
That's the point.
them lot are going to hold up 2 belts. Roman has his 2 belts, and there's going to be 6 belts in the ring, just held up in the air.
Yeah.
So kind of
what
like
we're waiting
Jericho then.
Yeah.
Jericho
but
has 4
far more
belts.
better. Far more better.
Two-man power trip. It's bigger than two-man
2-man
power.
power trip.
Well, bigger.
Yeah.
Look, literally, if
And
they
the
do
two-man.
that, this is actually probably the most successful faction of all time.
Only
Like,
thing
on
they need
paper,
to
on
do.
paper.
Only thing they need to do to make it bigger than anyone has ever done, and it's literally
Bring a woman
happening
in
right
there.
now. What's that?
Bring a woman in there and let her be the
Naomi's
champion.
holding gold.
There you
Naomi's
go.
literally holding gold right now. And if they
Bring
really
it
want to
You know
dominate it,
something?
let
I don't
Naomi
think there's
actually.
been. I don't think there's been a team bigger than the 2-man power trip. Maybe Evolution as well to hold all of the gold.
Well, Undisputed Era done it too, but you need to bring a woman in. That's the only thing that caps it.
Yes.
I mean, if
And
you
it's
really want to push it, you
Naomi.
re-sign Nia Jax, have her and Tamina win tag gold, and have Naomi holding both the women's titles. But that's pushing it.
This
both
is
women's
true
titles
because in all
and
of
the
these
tag titles.
factions that we're talking about, there's never been a woman involved.
And the only way you top it with
That's
all of
true.
that, Paul Heyman wins the Andre the Giant Battle Royal. So everybody,
No.
wait,
Paul
wait.
Heyman wins the
Gets the Money in the
24/7
Bank.
title.
yeah, it's true.
Yes.
It's
You
true.
get the
There
24/7.
hasn't been a woman in a faction like that since what, DX?
DX, yeah. With
Yeah.
Well, to be
Tyler.
honest, Rhea Ripley is the first woman to be in a main event male faction. Well, since DX, yeah, you're right.
Since DX.
Yeah.
Which is why you've got to give time for the Judgment Day as well. Having said that,
Hey, don't forget now. Stephanie McMahon was in DX.
Indeed. And I
she
know there
had-
are some
she
people
had
out there
gold.
saying
She was
Serena Deeb was there when CM Punk was champ, which is true, but she wasn't active in the ring, so it didn't
and she
count.
was so beautiful.
Yeah, she just shaved her head.
But she was still so beautiful.
Yeah, she was.
You can't hide beauty. You can't hide beauty.
Yeah, I'm really happy with what they're doing with her, to be honest.
I it's one of those things, and I know Nick again seems to believe I hate AEW. I just don't have the time. And when you follow socials, it's the truth. The socials come out. There's no lie in the fact that Roman Reigns smashed everybody in terms of Google searches. It's just what it is, So I'd love to see what they're doing, but I'm glad to see
what I
that.
got from this right now is
I believe
for the
we've covered
entire
the whole
card.
event pay-per-view
For the
now.
entire pay-per-view, I've got to watch 2 matches. So before our next prediction show or the next time we all meet up, I've got to come back to you and says I've seen those 2.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah,
So talking of
If I
that, we are
haven't-
hoping to get back into a bit of a weekly, but in 2 weeks' time, guys, we will be back with Nico
Oh, shit, I've
because
got
it
2
will
weeks.
be double or nothing time. Double or Nothing's coming up on the 29th, so we'll be here either on a Wednesday or a Thursday. We may let Dynamite pass, but we will be back. Just want to put a huge thank you out to absolutely everyone who's tuning in, whether it be on pod, as we do on the Silver Screen Dude movie Mount Rushmore side, whether you're live squad, whether you're VOD squad, whether you want to be pod squad, because again, just like the movie Mount Rushmore, we are available on Spotify, iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Castbox, Deezer, Spreaker, iHeartRadio, Podchaser, Tuner, Stitching, and GeoSavin, and we just search for Ministry of Wrestling, not the other stuff. And if you are really into what's happened here, guys, kind of, again, don't want to keep plugging the other show, but you can, for the price of less than your daily Starbucks, go to www.buymeacoffee.com/movie dudes. It all goes into the same pot. And hopefully we'll all be going off to WrestleMania with that money.
What's movie dudes about?
Oh, movie dudes. Oh, would you like a plug? Would you like me to do one of those? Right here, like a Mick Foley bit. So, guys, the movie dudes, this movie Mount Rushmore, Silver Screen Dudes, Nico and I host another show which is dedicated to movies. It's all about the movie Mount Rushmore. We take a given topic, we provide our top 10, and then we battle it out to create the movie Mount Rushmore. Those are the 4 diverse, must-see movies of that particular genre. Last week, our topic was the Nicolas Cage film. So I had my top 10, Nico had his top 10, and then we created our Mount Rushmore, which are the 4 must-see movies. What were they? Head on over to the bloody Rushmore and check it out. I'm not spoiling it.
That's if you started talking there, I was gonna cut you off. So bam, well done.
That's the one. And guys, so thank you for all the support. We are absolutely doing a madness on TikTok, so I thank you for that. So guys, if you do want to connect with the Ministry of Wrestling, we are available on TikTok, Ministry of Wrestling, on Instagram, Ministry of Wrestling. Guess what? Facebook is also Ministry of Wrestling. The YouTube page will be Ministry of Wrestling once the follows come up. So guys, please share this as much as we can. Give us a chance to create our own URL there. And if you are a Twitter head, it's at MOW News. We thank you very much. We will be back. Until then, guys, any last words?
Hashtag I'm with AJ.
Thank you very
Telling
much.
you, 2023, Ambrose comes and takes the title from Roman.
Ambrose or Mox? Ambrose or Mox? I'm putting you
Ambrose or Mox. Ambrose or Mox.
I'm putting you on the spot. Which one are you calling?
That's a tough shout. You know what? I'm gonna go with Mox.
Mox for the win. Mox for the win. It's there, and trust me, we will put it out there. If it comes up, we will put it on all socials. Big Tone called it, guys. It's been an absolute pleasure. Apologies for the late night. It wasn't meant to happen, but we're throwing it up because we are the ones, and we are too sweet. So until the next time, we out. See ya.
Peace.
Love.